All right, there is one metric in particular that is critical to the financial health of your business, and it's one that most business owners are not paying attention to, or are certainly not paying enough attention to. In this video, we're going to explain exactly what it is, CAC, and why as a business owner you need to start measuring it and what you need to start doing about it. Okay. So CAC is your customer acquisition cost. This is what it costs you in both time, effort, and money to acquire a customer. So a lot of times people will think about this as being like their advertising and their marketing cost. But if you're a small solopreneur and you're going to, say business networking groups, or maybe you're doing a lot of one-on-one, or maybe you're doing all of these different efforts to recruit prospects and leads into your business, that ultimately is a form of a customer acquisition cost. It's some of your time and effort that is going into building your business. So what you want to be kind of starting to do is to measure what your customer acquisition cost is. It is a myth to think that you have one customer acquisition cost, because in likelihood, you are probably doing more than one thing to acquire customers. There's very few businesses out there that say, you know what? I do Facebook ads and Facebook ads alone. Chances are, if you do Facebook ads, you probably also have other activities that the founders are involved in promoting the business. Maybe you also have some customers that you spend extra time with them so that you can get word of mouth. All of these different things ultimately feed into the cost of acquiring acquiring customers. So it's a really important metric. You can definitely run into some trouble if you are completely blind to this metric. You're going to either end up on one of two ends of the continuum. You're either going to end up on the side that you say, I'm not going to spend anything on marketing and advertising, I'm going to do it all myself organically, and not realize that you're burning away so many hours of your time trying to get customers that, a $10 investment in advertising would probably go further than 10 hours of your time on certain networking activities. So you might be on one end of the spectrum where you are afraid of shelling out dollars for customer acquisition cost, but instead you shell out hours and hours and hours of time creating posts for Instagram. The flip side are those that go almost too heavy on customer acquisition costs. So let's say that you decide to do advertising, but the cost per click, or the cost to actually get a customer is say $100, and your profit margin on that person is actually you're spending $100 to get a customer that's only buying a $30 product. Well, you're out of money right off of the gate, and more than that, you still have overhead and other costs to be able to incur. So customer acquisition cost is something that you always want to know. It's a very fine line and a fine balance. Ultimately, the less you spend on your customer acquisition cost, the more you get to keep in your own pockets. Be very, very wary of that other path of forgetting that customer acquisition cost is not just hard dollars shelled out. It's also your time and effort and the opportunity cost associated with it. So that is CAC, customer acquisition cost. It's a really powerful lever in maintaining your business, but more importantly in growing and scaling your business. So it's something that you're going to want to measure. I would rather you measure it and quantify it in a way that is inaccurate than not measure it at all. Because remember that there's no one needs your customer acquisition cost other than yourself and the decision makers in the business. So don't worry about what you're including and what you're not including. Worry more about, am I focused on this metric, and am I paying attention to it and making the right decisions based on it, okay? So CAC, customer acquisition cost. Now you know what it's all about.